Hi, everybody. It's me, Bob, again. I want to thank you for coming back to my website. I wanted to follow up on something that we talked about, I think it was yesterday. We talked about the false prophet. On my website, we talk about the Antichrist, which is Emmanuel Macron. And I think we've covered that in a lot of detail over the last 8 years. And from day one, where he was a nobody, to today, he is the leader of Europe. And as I like to call him, and a lot of other people call him, the emperor of Europe. So I think that's been established. So I think the next thing that we might consider researching, if you will, is the false prophet, somebody that will share power and will actually share a throne here on earth with Emmanuel Macron. So this is somebody that we need to look at. And I started looking more closely at this false prophet significance with the latest UN story that came out. It's the UN Pact for the Future. Most Bible prophecy people remember last year when they talked about global governance, and we all thought that last year was going to usher in this one world government with the Antichrist. But this year they have a new angle, and it still picks up from last year with the global governance. But this year they're looking for somebody called a special envoy for future generations. Now, my question is, what in the world is a special envoy for future generations? As I mentioned, envoys have a particular job for particular countries and particular diplomats, but I've never heard of a special envoy for future generations. And I don't even think that anyone has given that much thought. I did a little research, and that term has been bantered around a little bit, but not much. Macron, as a matter of fact, was supporting the special envoy for future generations. That was interesting for me to discover. He was completely behind the UN supporting a diplomat or a envoy, as they call it, for future generations. But most people were not familiar with that term. So again, if you think about it, what is an envoy for special generations? And I think obviously it's somebody that would fit the description of the not the Antichrist, for the false prophet, somebody that would represent the false prophet. But then I came up with an interesting thought, an interesting idea. Um, there are two movies. One actually is well, they're both television shows that really affected me as far as Bible prophecy is concerned. And one of them was that television show called V. I love that show, and I thought it was actually a commercial for the tribulation period. But the second TV show that I thought was great from a Bible prophecy viewpoint was a show called Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke. And it was just fascinating. Talked a lot about a special person who is on Earth representing a particular mission, and it had to do with UFOs. And then I sort of put two and two together and realized that this person in this movie, Childhood's End, could well be considered a special envoy to the planet Earth. And he was here for one reason. He was here as a special envoy for future generations of the children. Behind me, you can see the picture of the children. This is at the end of the show where they were just about to be raptured to the spaceship. Again, Bible prophecy people should probably watch this show again if they haven't seen it in a while. But this particular person that was here, I think was even at the UN, I'm not sure, was a special envoy to Earth, and he represented and he was trying to work for the children of the planet Earth for future generations and saving the children for future generations. And when I realized that, uh, I thought I hit pay dirt here because that's what the UN is looking for. And I don't know, did they look at the show? Did they read his book? But I think probably Arthur C. Clarke probably read the Bible. I'm sure he did. And this is all about the Bible. This is all about the false prophet. And, when 2 and 2 equals 4, I think we're looking at two. And the next two will obviously be the fulfillment of the whoever is the envoy. But as I said before, we won't know that until, we won't know it because the rapture will happen and then this special envoy will be selected. And of course, he'll come here and he will tell everybody that he's here to save the children, save the future generations of children. And I don't know if the UN sort of got it backwards. Instead of electing an envoy for that purpose, perhaps somebody will show up and say they are the envoy for this particular purpose. So it's a very interesting aspect of the UN's call for a envoy. And I think this show, Childhood's End, lends a really interesting aspect of the possibility of who the false prophet will be and where he'll come out of and what his job will be. Okay?